So while you do that, I'm going to move on to the second segment for Meltwater. So from Meltwater, we have 3 representatives coming in. Can I please have them on stage? Mim? Sorry, that's Mimra. He likes to be called Mim. So that's that. And we have 2 other representatives, so can we please have them join us? Uday, repeat the cues. So you have an idea?
No, I think I remember the cues.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, go for it.
Thank you so much. So our discussion, we were mainly talking about using AI intelligence, right? I think one of the main conversations we discovered is there is really a big change coming in customer journey because of things like AEO and GEO. I think one of the things the team mentioned as well is, especially in a segment like insurance, customers really do ask questions on knowing more about the products in answer engines or generative engines. And when these engines give recommendations, that really makes a big difference in which service or which products they buy, right? So that was one of the things we discussed. But I think we also had a lot of discussions on the right use of AI, right? So maybe I'll pass it to yourself to just do a quick piece on when we discussed about the safe use, how does for Ernst & Young, you guys think about that as well?
Thank you so much. So I think using AI responsibly is a responsibility of all of us, not only in this room, everywhere else. And I think that is the key crux for Ernst & Young. So like I was telling and sharing, when we start training our people in AI or whatever, one of the most important training piece is on responsible AI. Now, whether we are creating those solutions for our clients, we are looking at it in a very responsible way, or to the fact that how we use AI ourselves in a day-to-day manner. So being in terms of using it ethically, using it in the right way. Like I said, we are a professional service organization and we have a lot of data, and we cannot really use, I mean, while we would love to use that data, used to crunch it and do a lot more analysis, we need to be really responsible in terms of what kind of data needs to go on AI and where it does not need to go on. So we really don't use anything outside the boundaries of what is internal AI platforms, and we are very strict about in terms of how we use it. And I think responsible AI is the most important thing. Anybody can use AI, but using it responsibly is the key crux.
I think one other discussion we had in our group that was also very interesting is we discussed a little bit about if we were going to make one change in marketing in the departments that we work in, what would be that one change if we were to do it for 2026? One of the common themes from the group was they are going to make changes in the recruitment process, that they are going to start putting a lot more priority to recruiting candidates who are more familiar with the use of AI. So that's again a change that the marketing team on our discussion panel that we talked about, because it seems like all the engines, all these AI engines are going to make everyone more equal in the skill sets they're going to bring, but whoever is the most effective in being early adapters of that technology will make a big difference, right? So a lot of the marketeers in our discussion group and communicators, they said that one change, if they were to make one change compared to 2025, 2026, they will definitely put a lot higher priority in the recruitment interviewing process, asking questions about AI adoption. But I think also for Shalini, I think she mentioned a very interesting use case in the cinema space, especially using a little bit of predictive analytics as well. So I'll pass the mic to you.
Sure, thanks, Mim. In fact, it was a very interesting conversation where we spoke about predictive analysis, and each industry professional spoke about what is it, that they are putting into usage. So if I have to talk about cinema in generic, the kind of AI usage that is come into picture these days is huge. I can actually break this into two parts. One is related to audience and the other one related to the brands. If I have to talk about the audience specific, the kind of audience that comes into cinemas across pan India, they are kind of demographics that we can break into because of the AI usage. And the kind of growth intelligence that we come up for audience related is the kind of bookings that they do, the kind of F&B purchases that they do, the kind of movies that they select, the kind of cinemas that they want to go into. All this is kind of broken into predictive analysis. Likewise, if I have to talk about brands, brands always had that myth or a perception that cinema has never picked up post-COVID. But then, in fact, in some of the cases, it so happens that if you assume a blockbuster, that actually gives you the premium audience. But nevertheless, even that is kind of changed now because of the AI, because we do a lot of interactive sessions with the audience where the brands can also benefit. So in terms of predictive analysis, we can also talk about the brand, if they want to even associate with us in any form, they can also choose the kind of cinema that they want, the kind of audience that they want to connect with. So that's the kind of predictability that we have come up with the AI usage. So this is something which is enormous, and cinema as an industry, we have definitely benefited with this kind of a change.
Yeah, thank you so much. So one of the things to kind of conclude is, for us in our discussion group, I mean, for Meltwater, who are not familiar with Meltwater as a company, we've been trying to practice the business of mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, right? We've been trying to answer that question to many brands. Traditionally, I've been in Meltwater 18 years now, and traditionally, doing the mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, takes a long time because we need to go through the data manually, right? But now with using large language models as well as small language models, that process takes a very little time comparatively. So I do think for us in Meltwater, we are really helping brands cut short that time, but also doing a lot more using AI for customer journey augmentation, so that you can be much more visible. I think in one of our discussions, we talked a lot about how does that change the journey and how we can use AI to augment that journey as well. So thank you so much. Thank you.